morning, viewers, and welcome to a new edition of the week. It's the Market Review, where we bring you developments in the financial and capital markets as it relates with our economy. Today, we'll be looking at innovation and market development, focusing on the equities space. And you know that equities market is a very key market space in the entire ecosystem of the capital market across the globe. Nigeria is not left out, and today we'll be looking at how to regain investor confidence, leveraging innovation and developments in the equities market. With me to lead this conversation on this new week, September 7, 2020, Monday morning, 10 a.m., here at the studios of Web TV, is Mr. Akeem Oyewale. He's the CEO of Stanbic, IBTC Nominees, and just recently was appointed into the Product Advisory Committee for Equities by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Good morning and nice to have you on the show.
Good morning. Thanks, Gota.
Yes. Just to begin with the fact that when we look at the equities market, according to ProShares recently published August Capital Market Service reports, the equities market, the NSE equities market, closed with 29.4 trillion naira capitalization. And for the first time in the year, it beats the FMDQ debt market as the most capitalized segment of the ecosystem. I just wanted to give us insight into how, so far, the equities market has performed, and coupled with the fact that we've still navigating this COVID-19 pandemic, it's impacting global markets and including Nigeria.
Thank you very much again, and thanks for having me on this program. Yes, I mean, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the equities market of the NSE has actually performed, I would say, and a number of people will say as well, I mean, incredibly well. I mean, even though we are not yet in the positive territories yet, but we've seen a lot of very, very positive green shots, and we are expecting the market to continue to perform. The market has had a negative return of 4.61, which, if you consider what has gone on this year with the pandemic and with every other thing that we've been seeing, the crash of prices of commodities, you can say that the economy or the NSE index actually done well. People were expecting a lot worse performance as at this time. So the NSE has done well, and kudos must be given as well to the Nigerian investing public who still had faith in the market, because we saw at the beginning of the year a lot of offshore investors actually exiting, and we still had the ability to actually absorb a lot of the exits from offshore investors. So I would say the market has done relatively well. In the minus 4.61 that we've seen, we've actually seen some stocks that have actually performed incredibly well. Some have returned in excess of 100%, some 40%, some 60%. And this shows the resilience of the market. It also shows, which is what I think is very important, the ability of the Nigerian economy, despite the fact that we still came down quarter on quarter in terms of our growth, to be still stand steady. We've seen the results of companies coming out still doing relatively okay, even though they were impacted by the pandemic. But a lot of organizations were able to manage their affairs and not really go out of business.
Mr. Akeem, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, go on. Go on.
Yeah.
You can go on.
Yeah, so I was saying that the market has actually performed in a way that a lot of investors have been more than feel that even though we have a little negative return, it has been more than what people expected would be. The real expectation was that by this time of the year, the market will very, very will be in a worse state from a negative perspective, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I mean that is normally the market reflects the economy. The economy contracted for the first time since the 2016-2017 period, where we had the recession, and driven by about 13 sectors compared to the previous quarter. And so when you look at various company results, we've seen the oil and gas sectors are still challenged. We've seen telcos still trying to drive activities.
Banking and finance, the same thing. What stood out for you when you've seen the company results so far of quoted companies in the exchange?
Yeah, I think the companies that were able to make everybody to be happy to a large extent has been folks in the agri space. So we've seen the likes of Okomo, the likes of Presco, I mean, and even some of the names in the fast-moving consumer goods. The numbers, even though not as crazily positive as one would have thought it would be, but it still showed that there are some very, very important segments of the market that were more resilient than others. The banking industry as well, we saw a lot of companies release their results in the financial industry, especially last week. I mean, the likes of Stanbic, IBTC, GT Bank, Zenith Bank, So despite all the heavy CRR debits that they've suffered, they were still able to to show a lot of improvements, from their profitability, especially year on year. If you compare this year with last year, quarter on quarter, of course, they were all challenged, and we know why. I mean, the economy was shut down for a long period of time, and not everybody could actually access or finance a number of the operations that they would have loved to. But the resilience, the resilience is that key attribute that the market has seen, and I think that is what is paying off. We've also had a very, very major challenge from an FX perspective. We're all aware the FX market was literally down since March, up till end of August this year. So for investors, they've been struggling to get exits out of the economy. That was a challenge on one side, and that also impacted investments. Also for a number of the companies that are into manufacturing, they had difficulties importing a lot of their raw materials, so that also impacted them. But overall, as an economy and as a market, Nigerian Stock Exchange has demonstrated that companies listed are quite resilient, and the results have shown that. That's why we've seen from a very, very challenging result or in position at the beginning of the quarter. Right now we are at minus 4.6%.
Yes. And talking about innovation, which is a part of our central thrust of discussions today, looking at the just published 2020 online trading report from ProShare, it showed that capital market operators have become more aware of the pressures to build robust online platforms that communicate interactively with customers, showing that the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in late 2019 made the case for the remote business interface, which I know you and also your groups took it very seriously. When you look at that in terms of CMOs now going digital, leveraging the technology platform, do you say that's also really helped to drive efficiency in the equities market space?
Well, I mean, it was actually inevitable. I mean, that's actually the point. I mean, a joke that was out at the beginning of the pandemic was that which entity or which individual actually assisted the company in driving its digital implementation strategy? Is it the CEO, the CTO, or was it the COVID-19 pandemic? And the answer was COVID-19 pandemic. So it was inevitable. I mean, the most of the organizations like Nigerian Stock Exchange and other entities, they implemented their BCP and BCM processes, and they all went remote. So if you did not have a remote trading platform, you were out of business. Customers were not able to move around. People were not able to shuffle or submit documents all around. A lot of people were afraid. So people had no choice, but to become more and more innovative. And we've seen that in the capital market. A lot of organizations have enhanced their app. One of the major impact you saw last quarter as well was the launch of the super app by Stanbic IBTC, which is able to incorporate almost all the activities of the bank, apart from banking, stockbroking, insurance, your asset management, and a number of other organizations also try to replicate that as well. So we saw a very, very huge leap, towards the digital space by a number of organizations, and they had to do it to survive. So it was inevitable, and it was just very, very important for them to do. Yeah.
And Mr. Akeem, when still from the ProShare Online 2020 trading reports for the market, it also noted that the Nigerian Stock Exchange market capitalization rose from 11.48 trillion naira in 2014 to 12.96 trillion naira currently in 2019, reflecting a 6-year growth of plus 12.89%. Would you say that is a robust growth? Would you have wanted to see something more, maybe a 20-30% growth? Is that a good for the Nigerian market?
Given the circumstances, the answer is yes. The circumstances that was in existence, really, the answer would be a yes. It's very, very good and positive growth.
Okay. All right. So let's look now at the role that you're in currently. The Docs Advisory Committee, I was quite thrilled to see you and other leaders like Mr. Oyewale Agbeyangi, who is the MD of Godrest, is the chairman of that committee. You have a date being a member of that committee to come up with innovations for the equity space. So I'm going to ask if you have started meeting, but beyond the meeting, how this will help to boost investor confidence, deepen the market breadth, and improve liquidity, because this has been the major words we hear. We need to see that really happen amidst the pandemic.
Yeah, I think what the has done is highly commendable. Apart from setting up different product advisory committees, you have fixed income that is headed by the highly revered Ajara Adeola. You have the one of ETFs headed by Mr. Cliff Weber. You have derivatives, Charles Robin, is actually leading that. And you have equities, which I'm a member of, with Wale Agbeyangi as the chair. This SC has done a good job in selecting very, very key and active players in the market, to head or to participate in these advisory committees. And like we said, the overall objective is to enhance the quality of offerings in the market. From the equity space, our goal is to ensure that we not only, like you said, it's not just about meetings, really, we could as well provide our advice to the NSE, or without meeting or without forming a committee. But they felt the forum is to allow the NSE to interact with capital market stakeholders in order to enhance liquidity of equity offerings, and we will be allowed to also give advice and opinion to them in order to ensure that there is continuous and active product development, where there are meant to be some restructurings in the product offerings, we'll advise, as well, and meant to be reviews, we also do so. Now, the good thing, about it is that the advisory committee is not limited to just the members that have been announced. We have the ability to either co-opt or seek advisory, from other members of the community. So we are just representing community, and I think that's a very smart one from the NSC, bringing all these people together and also involve the NSC. So we are expecting in the next couple of months to show our advice the market in terms of key enhancements, assist the market in terms of ensuring there's a higher level of confidence in the market. And last but not the least, we just want to grow investor confidence in this market, because by so doing, we're also going to play our role in contributing towards the of Nigeria. Yeah. Our focus is equity, but like you rightly said at the beginning, change is literally the barometer for measuring the economic.
Yes, yes. And this brings us to a very important aspect, awareness. You are also a member of the FCC committee and the Nigerian capital market, and it's related and provides support with the equities market.
Yeah. So
Mr. Akeem, can you hear me? We're having some slight connectivity challenges, but of course, we're discussing with Mr. Akeem Oyewale, the CEO of Stanbic IBTC Nominees, who also is a member of the Products Advisory Committee for the equities segment of the Nigeria capital market. And he's been discussing about the new role of trying to create that awareness, the need for deepening investor confidence, need for market breadth and liquidity to come on board. This has to do with the work of ensuring that investors find the equities market once again very veritable to invest in, and they are sure that their investments are guaranteed. Also, we've been having the conversation around the growth in the market as captured by the ProShare 2020 online trading report, showed that the market moved from around 11.49 trillion naira in 2014 to 12.9 trillion naira in 2019, about 12.69% growth in the last 2014 and 2019, about 5 years and 6 years in terms of that growth level. And for Mr. Akeem Oyewale, it's not bad given the circumstances around the macroeconomic space that also has an impact on the capital market. We also looked at the fact that technology has come to bear in terms of shaping market activities. Like he put it in a little joke, he said, is it the CEO or is it the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, or is it COVID-19 that really led this rapid move by capital market operators to embrace technology and drive the operations? So indeed, it was the pandemic, and it has helped efficiency. It's helped to bring more trade activities and engage more of the investors on driving the markets. We, however, began with the performance of the market so far, looking at the activities of various sectors, where he also noted that the performance of companies like Oil Palm, Presco has shown that the agri-business segment of the market is continuing to drive growth. That's providing a boost in its performance, and it's one area to watch. Also listed some of the banking reports that's come out. It's like Stanbic, IBTC, Guaranteed Trust Bank, Access Bank, amongst others. The banking and finance segments have also continued to drive market activities. But the major thrust, again, is the need for more innovation and more investor confidence, which is very critical for the equities market, because that has been affected and lacking in the market. Let me just take you a bit into that analysis from the ProShare online trading report. It really drilled down to the fact that the CMOs know that the revised framework, they cannot fit into the revised framework of client expectations. They have one choice. They don't have to fold up, they have to innovate. So the evolving capital market environment is grellingly competitive and crushingly innovative. So the time for gentle paper pushing has ended. That era is over. And we now have an era where we have to see operating firms that do not rethink, reimagine, and re-strategize their business begin to believe that they are no longer relevant. So if you want to be relevant as a capital market operator there watching this program, you have to rethink, reimagine, and re-strategize around technology and around the digital innovation that has come on board to become very effective. And so this is one very major takeaway from what we're seeing from the market, and it's very important that this is taken seriously. Another interesting takeaway from the ProShare Online Trading Report 2020 as it concerns the capital market is the fact that the ecosystem will see greater intervention by fintech companies. No wonder the Securities and Exchange Commission was proactive in setting up the roadmap for fintech. But we have back again Mr. Akeem Oyewale. Mr. Akeem, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Apologies for that.
You know, yes, we're in the tech era. We still are working toward a better tech infrastructure in Nigeria. But yes, that is something that we continue to improve on. But you were talking about financial literacy and what you're doing with your committee, particularly for the equity space. If you can continue.
Yes, thank you very much. I was explaining that financial literacy technical committee, working under the directive of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and in line with the mandate of the Capital Market Master Plan 2015-2025, has been working assiduously, under the chairmanship of Mrs. Toyin Sani, to ensure that we allow capital market literacy to penetrate all through the gamut of the Nigerian economy. We've been focusing exclusively right now on the youths. You know, we are almost done, if not for the COVID pandemic, with ensuring that an infusion of financial literacy into the curriculum of all secondary school students. And we are also working with a number of universities as well to ensure that they are able to incorporate and allow their students to be aware of financial literacy, especially from a capital market perspective. We also regularly work with leading agencies in the financial system, the Central Bank of Nigeria, PENCOM, FIRS, you know, to ensure that we are able to disseminate the knowledge of financial literacy across the nook and crannies of Nigeria, especially to whether it's market women, whether it's students, whether it's artisans. Everybody needs to understand and appreciate what the market is all about. We are not focused on equities market. We are focused on both the equities market, the debt market, you know, and our literacy plans across all the gamut of the capital market. We've also been very active in sponsoring and ensuring that we have skits, you know, short videos that we use online, you know, to promote capital markets knowledge in the market. So if you go to the SEC website, if you go to the Nigerian Stock Exchange website as well, you see publications like Stock Town, you know, that is being done to enhance financial literacy. You know, if you also go to many of the participants' websites as well, you see links, you know, that actually guide investors or anybody that wants to know about the markets into what the market really is all about. And the SEC has been very, very supportive, as well as all the capital market operators. They've all contributed significant funds towards ensuring that we're able to implement a financial literacy drive across the country. And we're seeing results. We hope that it's going to continue.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to hear. There was this nice storybook, the comic.
Comic.
Yeah. I mean, I like that innovation. And also, the millennials are very critical. I know that you're a young capital market leader, Mr. Akeem, and the millennials are really driving a lot of activities in the country. I mean, yesterday, trying to do some work or research, I'm seeing the trends on Twitter. He was talking about Eric and Erica. That's the Big Brother Nigeria program. It just shows you how the millennials are shaping so much in the country. And anybody that says they're not very critical would be joking at this point, because even the fact that from what we saw in the trends, that GoFundMe was done for her shows that even people can be so innovative to do a GoFundMe for someone that was disqualified from that program. So that brings us to how your committee is connecting with the millennials to bring them on board to the Equities Market, to be also finding this market attractive and something they would like to engage in and invest
in. So a lot of the work targeted at the youths, you know, and the millennials form a very good proportion of the youths population we are actually targeting. So most of the work we do, we try to communicate them via the social media handles. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, you know, and we try to use this to actually make sure people get to learn about financial literacy. I mean, the subcommittee head, you know, of the in terms of ensuring the dissemination of information is actually a millennial herself, you know, and she's doing so much work connecting with the younger ones, the younger folks, you know, in ensuring that all the work we're doing, we are actually communicating to them. And we are seeing action. We will still continue to to increase our level of awareness. You know, we have all the other members of the key aspects of the financial community on our committees. We have PENCOM, we have Stock Exchange, we have FIRS, you know, we have the SEC itself, you know, FMDQ and other players. You know, we've brought everybody together. So we are not just disseminating financial literacy as FLTC alone, but we are also utilizing the platforms that all these players have in their respective jurisdictions to also distribute and disseminate the message of financial literacy. But it's important, you know, we don't want to go back to the era of 2008, 2009, you know, when people were just investing in the market without adequate knowledge. There's a lot to guide people onto the utilization of collective investment schemes. You should invest in mutual funds. If you do not have specific knowledge of the market, we have more than 70 mutual funds in the country today, each targeting specific investor classes. find out where you belong to, whether you are a conservative investor. There are a lot of fixed income funds for you. Whether you are an aggressive investor, there are a lot of equity and aggressive funds for you. Even if your desire is to invest in dollars, in foreign currency, you have dollar funds, you have ETFs, so the SEC has done a lot of work in actually enhancing the collective investor investment scheme space. So we want players, we want investors to take advantage of that. And when you think you've graduated to the level where you are highly skilled, then you can be a QI a qualified institutional investor. You can actually invest either through your entity or directly in stocks that you have analyzed, you have enough research about, you've spoken to your stockbroker and professional advisor, so you make right investment decisions. We don't want people to come back and say they were misled. And if you go to the SEC website, one of the things they emphasize so much is that it's very, very easy for you to have access to the list of approved and licensed capital market operators. It's literally one of the first things on their website. This is the list of all approved capital market operators. If you're going to invest in capital markets, please go through these entities. Don't go through any ponzi, no matter how much they are showing you that they're in terms of returns. You have been at
100% returns.
As any ponzi scheme, yeah.
Okay. That's nice to note, because there are a lot of schemes online now, and a lot of young people are going there and telling others that, look, this one gives you at least 100 or 200% returns. So it's good that you're saying that, and we want to use this opportunity, public and investment community, to aware of those platforms, because they're not regulated or registered by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So whoever is investing does so at his or her own risk. So, Akeem, we'd like to get your closing thoughts around innovation and the equities market and boosting that retail investor confidence, particularly, which is very important at this time.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Otto. I think it is very important that the Nigerian players are aware of the series of innovations going on in the market right now. Like we said at the beginning of this conversation, almost a number of stockbroking firms right now have access. They've been able to enhance their apps, and they're able to allow you to have access to your investments in the comfort of your homes on your mobile phones. You should take advantage of all of this, and if you also look at a number of approved and licensed schemes, like TradeFi with commercial, they are all trying to make it easy for you to have access to your investments, so take advantage of all of this. And if you do not understand, you have the FMDQ, you have the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the FX, all the capital market trade points, very robust websites, and they have all heavily invested in investor education, so please go through this website and get up-to-date information on how to make investment in the Nigerian capital market through any of the innovative apps, and other schemes that are available. I mean, we believe, like I said at the beginning, yes, the year has been very tough. We saw the up and downs in commodity prices. We saw how the NSE went down almost 20% at the point in time. But today, the Nigerian Stock Exchange Index is just minus 4%. And the drive or the expectation is that if we're able to curb the pandemic the way we think we are curbing it right now, and everybody's back, flights are back, businesses are back, curfew is being limited to a very short amount of hours, business will be booming again, and that will translate to positive returns on these companies, and eventually investors will also be getting good returns and good yields. So I encourage people, don't give up on the market, take advantage of the innovations that are available, and continue to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akeem, for that very inspiring
word. And definitely, to all our retail investors watching, the market is available for you. It's more innovative than what you thought before, and you can exploit because your investments are guaranteed. It's not like the 2008, 2009 experience for now. And once again, to all our investors and the public, avoid schemes that are not registered or regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, because you're investing in those platforms, you do so at your risk. Thank you once again, Mr. Akeem, CEO of Stanbic IBTC Nominees and member of the Products Advisory Committee set up by the Nigerian Stock Exchange to help develop and boost the equities markets of the Nigerian capital market ecosystem. We hope to have you in subsequent editions to discuss around the financial and capital markets in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Yes. And that will be all for this Monday, September 7, 2020, beginning the new week edition of the Market Review. You can log on to our website, www.prochange.com, to watch our videos, news reports, and analysis. And also send your email to news@prochange.com in case you want to ask a question or make a comment based on our interviews or conversations around the financial and capital market. We're available to respond to you and also engage you further. Until we come your way again, let's make it a date tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.